So why should I care about the cloud? Why should you care about the cloud? So you need to understand, as we talked about before, almost all of your life intersects with the cloud in one way or another. And to be successful in business or in school or whatever your goals are next, you really do need to understand the cloud, both so you can talk about it intelligently and be able to understand how whatever business you are working at, or maybe you want to start your own business, how that relates to the cloud. For instance, if you wanted to start your own business, how you might integrate your website with a web store so that you could do e-commerce. Or even if you're starting, say, a construction company, how are you going to use the cloud to manage your payroll or be sure that your taxes are paid appropriately. So you really do need to understand how the cloud works to be successful and to make wise choices. There are always going to be companies that are going to try to sell you more space on the cloud to store your data, and you can, by understanding the cloud, make better decisions about how you want to spend your money. Also, if you are interested in computers and cloud computing draws your interest, it is a very good career. It's an expanding career. It will be expanding for the near future and probably the far future. So if it's something you're interested in, it is a very good way to make a living. And wages are good and job security is good too. So pursuing a career in some sort of cloud services can be an excellent way to move forward. So, thinking again about the cloud and why do we use it? Why would we use it? And I'm going to follow this up with another video for you. But for one thing, it's for infrastructure. Now, I am fairly old, so I remember the days in which I had my own computer tower and everything I had was on that computer. And every so often, I would have to update it, upgrade it, buy a new one. We all know that cycle of having to replace computers and devices. Well, if you use the cloud, you get out of that cycle in many ways. You do still have to upgrade your device periodically, but it only has to be upgraded in terms of its access to the internet, its access to the cloud. You don't have to continually upgrade the storage. And this can be an excellent idea for a business so they don't have to store all their files and things on site. Also, you'll hear this video talking about scalability or being agile. Now, agile is a very big buzzword in the business world right now. In fact, there is a way of managing projects and managing them via computer called agile. So you can take classes in learning agile. But what agile means in this case is the ability to scale up or down. For instance, the ability to, if you have a company, take on a whole bunch of new clients right away. If you had to buy the infrastructure to do that, or even hire the people or the services to do that, it would take you quite a bit of time to do that. But if you are using web-based services, or if you're using cloud-based services, you can add almost instantly. You can instantly add extra space. You can instantly add extra software capabilities. That's cloud-based. And so they call it being able to scale. Also, and the other point of view, if all of a sudden, for instance, a pandemic hits and your business doesn't need as much space, you can scale back down and save yourself money. This is also true in a personal sense too. Say you have a new baby. All of a sudden you have 10,000 pictures and videos, and what are you going to do with them? Well, you can scale up and get a little more space on the cloud. There's a security perspective too. The video I was going to show you after this is actually put out by Kaspersky, and they are a major cloud security company. So you'll notice a definite security tilt in the video. But security, if you store your information in the cloud-based people, the third-party vendors who are giving you or renting you that space, they are responsible for keeping it secure. They're responsible for the firewalls. They're responsible to keep it from getting hacked and from malware and things like that. Now, we all know this doesn't always happen. We all know cases where big companies have been hacked. Everything from the folks who keep your credit reports to credit card companies to big retailers like Home Depot and Target. They've all been hacked and had their cloud-based information hacked, which is scary, but not as scary as the alternative of you having to keep your one device safe from fire, flood, theft, or just your dog throwing up on your computer. So security becomes the responsibility of the vendor. And from a business point of view, that's actually great for liability, because the liability passes from you, the business, to the company that you have outsourced the security to. And then software. We talked a bunch about this already, that the software, and it used to be, again, I'm old, you get these floppy disks, you stick them in your big tower and it downloads the software to your computer. Nowadays, we just download mostly the interface and do most of our work online. Finally, cost. Now, the cloud is always talked about as being free. And for those of you who are my returning students, you know that I say that nothing is free. The cloud can be free-ish, meaning it doesn't cost a lot of money, or maybe it doesn't cost actually any money, but if someone's not charging you money, they are getting payment from you in a different way. And we'll talk more about this in the upcoming weeks. But what you usually are paying for is your personal data. To get a free account, you usually have to supply your name, where you live, or what your age is, or other information about you. And you also have to agree that the company gets to look at, say, your emails or your Facebook feed. You ever wonder how those ads just seem so personalized to you? Again, we'll talk about this again, but nothing is free. Now, if you are scaling up in the cloud, usually you do have to buy, or again, I say rent, more space on cloud-based servers. And so if you have more data, you need more space, they will charge you a little bit more. But you can often shop around to see who has more expensive plans, who has less expensive plans. For instance, the Apple iCloud, they always want to charge a lot for what I think is not too much. Google's a little more reasonable, but there are other data vendors that can offer you even more data for a lower price. But you need to know what you're getting into. So again, cost, just keep it in mind. All right, now I'm going to invite you to watch one more video. Again, this is by Kaspersky, a software security company, and it talks a little more in detail about how the cloud works in the business world. As always, you are welcome to email me or text me with your questions. I have an open office hours on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I would be glad to help you. See my flyer that is posted in your classroom to learn more. Take care, and I'll see you live next week.